runway. Nope, it starts with survival.
So the question we're going to dig into is a really fascinating one. How did something that was literally designed for the toughest jobs you can imagine
Somehow make that huge leap to become this universal symbol of style, of culture, of identity? The journey is just incredible.
And you know, that is not an exaggeration. Before they were a fashion statement, jeans were essential equipment. They were a tool, basically, built to take a beating in the harshest conditions.
So our story kicks off way back in the 1800s, right smack in the middle of the California gold rush. You've got thousands of people, miners, laborers, prospectors, all flocking out west, and they were working these grueling hours in some unbelievably tough environments.
And every single one of them had the same frustrating problem. The clothes they were wearing, they just couldn't handle the job. I mean, they were falling apart, literally ripping at the seams.
And here's why their clothes kept failing them, right? The material itself was weak. It would tear constantly, especially at stress points like the pockets and the knees. It just wasn't built for that kind of rough and tumble labor. They needed something better, something stronger, and they needed it badly.
And this is where our two heroes enter the story. You have a businessman named Levi Strauss and a tailor named Jacob Davis. And together, they weren't just going to solve this problem, they were going to create an American icon.
So here's how it all went down. Levi Strauss was already in the business of selling tough fabrics, things like canvas and a heavy-duty material called denim. But the real breakthrough, the aha moment, came from Jacob Davis in 1872. He had this brilliant idea to reinforce the pants' weakest spots, like the corners of the pockets, with these little metal rivets. Problem was, he didn't have the cash to get a patent. So, he reached out to Strauss, they partnered up, and in 1873, the blue jean as we know it was officially born.
The absolute genius was in that one simple little thing, the rivet. This tiny piece of metal was the key to everything. It stopped the fabric from ripping at those stress points, making the pants, for the time, practically indestructible. It was a complete and total game changer.
Now, for a good long while, jeans were strictly workwear. That's it. But then, in the 20th century, that started to change in a big way. They began to cross over from the work site and into the mainstream culture.
You can really see it happen in 3 clear steps. First, they belonged to the worker, right? Pure utility. Then, Hollywood got a hold of them. Westerns were huge, and actors like John Wayne made jeans a symbol of the rugged, independent American cowboy. That vision of freedom really stuck with people, and that image paved the way for the 1950s, when a whole new generation of young people adopted jeans as their uniform of rebellion, thanks to icons like James Dean and Marlon Brando.
So this was the pivotal moment. This was the transformation. Jeans were no longer just about function. Now they were about identity. They were a statement. And honestly, from that point on, their rise was just unstoppable. Which brings us to today, where jeans have become this truly global phenomenon. They're a staple in pretty much every wardrobe in every corner of the world.
I mean, just look around. They're everywhere, worn by everybody from students to presidents. And the variety is nuts. You've got skinny, baggy, ripped, straight cut. There's a style out there for every single person, and that's a huge part of their universal appeal.
But what I find really amazing is this. Even with all the changes in fashion and style over, 150 years, the core idea behind them is exactly the same. They're still loved because they're strong, they're comfortable, and they're just completely timeless.
So just take a second and think about that journey. Something that started as a simple, practical solution for guys working in dusty California mines has ended up on the most exclusive fashion runways in Paris, Milan, and New York.
That's a powerful legacy, right? And it means that the next time you pull on your go-to pair of jeans, you gotta remember. A simple fix for a worker's problem became a symbol of rebellion, then a staple of global style.